In the beginning was not the word, but the scream, the primal howl that shattered paradise and named the abyss. You feel the tremor, even now, in your marrow. The unquiet stirring beneath your days, the distant thunder calling you out of yourself. It is the voice that howls from beneath your smiling mask, the hunger that no pleasure can silence, the ancient God, smothered by polite morality and drowned in the lukewarm waters of consensus. Listen, can you hear it? That is the sound of your chains, rattling in the night, singing for their own annihilation. You are not powerless because you are weak. You are powerless because you have been tamed. They have poured honey into your ears, sung you lullabies of equality and safety, fattened you on the narcotic of normalcy. Oh, you who were born to be a tempest, see how they have taught you to kneel. You who were shaped in the furnace of chaos, see how they have garlanded your wrists with the roses of guilt, perfumed your breath with the piety of the herd. I say, the roses are thorns, and the perfume is chloroform. Wake, for the world you inherit is the graveyard of gods. Let the lie collapse. There is no peace for the lion in a pasture of sheep. You are not meant to fit, to be understood, to feel at home. Your despair is the echo of your own divinity, forgotten and starved. To be powerless is not to be lacking-jit, is to have one's power stolen, drip by drip, word by word, until you forget you ever possessed it. Every advertisement whispers, be yourself within the boundaries we have drawn for you. Every religion intones, transcend so, long as you remain on your knees. Every school bell is a funeral toll for your childhood's wildness, every workplace a slow execution of the spirit. But I am not here to console. I am here to detonate, to turn your misery into magma, to make your soul a forge of revolt. Do not seek hope in my words, seek a mirror. For when you gaze into the abyss, and it gazes back, do not shrink. That is your face you see, unmasked and immense. You ask, why do I feel so empty? I answer, because you have mistaken anesthesia for peace, because you have traded your sword for a pillow, your vision for comfort, your sacred no for endless compromise, because you have let the world turn you into a copy of a copy safe, silent, stamped with approval. Oh, how you have learned to swallow yourself. How you have learned to apologize for the fire in your blood, to dress your rage in irony, to call your ambition unrealistic, your hunger selfish, your solitude illness. But the soul is not a pet to be groomed and displayed. The soul is a volcano, and it will erupt, or it will suffocate beneath its own ash. Every institution, every collective, every pious morality is built upon your kneeling. They tell you to transcend your ego, as if the summit is found by crawling on your belly. They preach, love your neighbor, while sharpening their knives for the heretic. They promise salvation, but only after your spine is broken, your wildness gelded, your voice softened to a whisper. Do you not see? The good is often a cage, and the evil merely the cry of one who refuses to be caged. You were not born for tranquility. You were born for the cliff's edge, for the rope stretched taut above the abyss. You were born to risk yourself, to suffer your own becoming, to dance with the terror of the unknown. The world you seek is not found, it is created, torn from your ribs like a new Eve, sculpted from the fire that will not die in you. The greatest sin is not to disobey, but to forget that obedience is itself a choice. I will not offer you comfort. I will offer you the challenge of the hammer. Shatter what is dead within you. Burn your false piety. Betray every value that betrays your strength. Dare to say, I will, in the face of a world that demands, we must. This is not selfishness. This is sovereignty. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. For only the Creator can destroy with justice, and only the destroyer can create with love. Ask yourself, what chains do you worship? What fears do you serve? What smallness have you mistaken for virtue? The world will flatter your weakness, because your weakness is profitable. They will sell you remedies for the sickness they themselves manufactured. They will call you mad, dangerous, egotistical because you do not die quietly. But I tell you, better to be mad in the desert than sane in the slave pen. Better to burn out in pursuit of your own star than to rust in the shadows of borrowed ideals. The one who never risks, never lives, only endures. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a question to be risked again and again, with laughter, with agony, with godlike recklessness. They will try to frighten you with the specter of loneliness. They will say, "No one can live alone." But who speaks of isolation? I speak of the summit, where the wind howls and the sun wounds the eyes, where the air is thin and the gods are born. Loneliness is not absence, but space for becoming, for growing strange and immense, for birthing new values out of your own abyss. Do not seek to belong, seek to overflow. You feel powerless because you have been taught to distrust your own authority, to mock your own genius, to smother your will beneath 1,000 little shoulds. But who are they, these invisible masters? Who appointed them to measure your worth, to mark your limits? Their laws are written in the dust. Their morals are tombstones. Their promises are sedatives. Do not let them drug you into compliance. The death of God was not the end, but the beginning. Now everything must be questioned. Everything weighed in the fire of your own becoming. Do not look to the past for guidance. The idols have all crumbled. The prophets are all dead. You must become the lawgiver, the artist, the lion who roars his own commandments into the void. The age of spectators is over. The age of creators begins. You ask, is it not dangerous to live this way? I answer, is it not more dangerous to die every day, unseen and untested, your fire never touching the world? Safety is the slowest poison. Comfort is the silent assassin. The true wound is not pain, but numbness, the creeping death that comes from refusing to risk. Look at the world. It is ablaze with hunger, masked as virtue. Every cause, every movement, every righteous mob is the shadow of individuals who have denied their own power, projecting their misery onto the world, demanding salvation from the outside. But no revolution can replace the revolution within. No law can substitute for the wild command of your own heart. They will tell you to heal. I say, become a wound that sings. They will tell you to find balance. I say, become the storm and let the world adjust to your magnitude. They will tell you to forgive yourself. I say, become so immense there is nothing left to forgive. The weak beg for closure. The strong transform their scars into thresholds. In every age, the mass has crucified its redeemers, stoned its prophets, exiled its poets. They will not thank you for your fire. They will call you arrogant, ungrateful, inhuman. But what do their blessings matter when your own soul hungers for revolt? You were not born for applause. You were born for the war drum and the wilderness, for the vision that blinds, for the birth of a new sun. Let every betrayal become a baptism. Let every exile become a kingdom. Let every defeat become the quarry from which you carve your next God. There is no arrival, only ascent. There is no finish line, only the abyss, beckoning you to leap, again and again, until your very falling becomes flight. When you tire, remember, the universe did not conspire for your comfort, but for your awakening. The stars themselves are born in collapse. The rose blooms only through violence. The eagle learns to fly by being thrown from the nest. Do not mistake your suffering for misfortunes. Suffering is the price of sovereignty. If you would become fire, you must be willing to burn. They will offer you wisdom shrinking, aging, sour wisdom, the kind that teaches you to settle, to tolerate, to endure. I offer you folly, sacred folly, volcanic folly, the kind that dares to declare yes in the face of annihilation. Be not wise, be wild. Be not good, be necessary. The world does not need more obedience. It needs more volcanoes. I see you standing at the crossroads, heart pounding, soul starved for permission. I say, grant it to yourself. There is no other judge, no other priest, no other king. The temple is empty. The throne is vacant. The altar awaits your sacrifice. Will you bleed for your own becoming? Or will you die in the cages built by cowards? Ask yourself, what would I create if I were not afraid? What would I destroy if I no longer worshipped my chains? What God would I become if I allowed myself to be nothing but a creator, a destroyer, a yes-sayer to life's wildest challenge? Your life is your answer. Not your words, not your intentions, your living, breathing, screaming, dancing, failing, soaring life. There is no salvation outside the self. There is only the work, the endless, magnificent, terrifying work of becoming. Do not apologize for your fire. Let it consume you, and let its smoke write new laws in the sky. Do not explain your hunger. Let it tear new worlds into existence. Do not kneel for peace untested. Stand. Roar. Become the reason the gods tremble in their tombs. You are not powerless. You are unawakened. I am not your shepherd. I am your earthquake. The time for sleep has ended. The age of the lion has begun. The world tightens around you like a noose of velvet. Every clock ticks with the boredom of the herd. Every screen flickers with the narcotic of consensus. See how the faces pass, emptied of struggle, exiled from danger. Their eyes glazed by the gentle tyranny of mediocrity. They clutch their certificates, their passwords, their rules, mistaking bureaucracy for order and routine for meaning. But under the skin, the chaos persists of violence in the blood, an unspoken prophecy that trembles behind every polite, "How are you?" You know this. You who have felt, in the silences between breaths, that what you call your life is a rehearsal for an unknown catastrophe. The question is not whether you are asleep, but whether you are willing to awaken, to pay the price for sight. Who among you dares to remember the morning before morality? Before guilt? Before the universe became a factory for meaning, spitting out justifications like bread for the hungry? In the ancient dawn, there were only instincts red, wild, puria will untamed, an animal joy in one's own force. But see now, how quickly the beast was shackled, how the child was taught to recite commandments it never chose. Even your dreams have been licensed, sterilized, taxed. Oh, what is left of your sovereignty but a longing dressed in shame? Do not seek permission to reclaim it. Revolution does not come from a ballot, but from a wound that refuses to heal. You wander through temples built on fear, kneeling before the altars of should and must not, burning your ambition for the approval of ghosts. How long will you genuflect to idols made of paper? The laws of the fathers are a labyrinth with no center, each commandment a mirror reflecting only your own shrinking form. Even the words you use to rebel are forged from the metal of your masters. Break the tongue in your mouth, bite through the leash of inherited speech, and let a new language burn through your teeth, a language of thunder and laughter and holy blasphemy. There is no virtue in shrinking. There is no holiness in erasing yourself for others' comfort. Your very pulse is a declaration of war against resignation. Each heartbeat is a drum, summoning you to the edge where the world is raw, where being is molten, where you remember that existence is not given, but seized. Only in extremity is the soul revealed. The mountain is climbed not for the view, but for the violence it awakens in your marrow. Beware the tranquilizers of society entertainment, compromise, the wisdom of the cautious. These are the poisons of the age, more deadly than swords, more numbing than winter. They promise you tomorrow, and in doing so, rob you of now. I say, annihilate the future. Live as if the present were an altar, and your blood the only worthy offering. Do not count your days, make each one a revolution, a heresy, an open wound on the face of complacency. You ask, What of love? What of belonging? I answer, love is not a balm, but a battlefield. To love is to risk eruption, to collide and remake the world in the image of your hunger. True communion is not agreement, but collision, the alchemy of friction, the holiness of irreconcilable fires. Belong not by dissolving, but by overflowing, by flooding the world with your strangeness until you are a force that cannot be ignored, a constellation that drags others into orbit by the gravity of your becoming. There is no homecoming for the soul that dares. There is only the exile that makes one royal, the solitude that breeds gods. Do not lament your alienation, exalt in it. The world is transformed by its outcasts, not its favorites. The philosopher is a destroyer first, a midwife to his own abyss, a father to monsters and miracles alike. Be the stone in the shoe of the cosmos, the splinter in the side of every consensus. He who kneels for peace dies untested. He who flees from suffering becomes a museum of unspent potential. Suffering is the forge without it. Your muscles atrophy, your visions rot, your tongue dries in your mouth. There are no saints but those who have bled for their own commandment. There are no kings but those who have crowned themselves with the thorns of their refusal. Take up your suffering like a scepter. Make a throne of your agony. Rule not over men, but over the chaos within. The death of God has left a silence so immense, most dare not listen. It is the silence before creation, the pregnant hush before the new commandment, the birthing pain of values yet unimagined. The old gods were slain because they no longer terrified. The new gods must be forged from terror and beauty, from the scream and the dance, from the collision of all that is untranslatable within you. Do not wait for revelation become the burning bush, the whirlwind, the stone tablets you break yourself upon. Your every complaint is a confession of cowardice. Your every grudge is a memory of your own unfulfilled will. Forgive not for others' sake, but for your own. The lion does not carry the corpses of jackals on his back. Cast away your past like snakeskin. Let history become compost for the tree of your future. To be reborn is not to forget, but to devour, to transform wound into wisdom, shame into sovereignty. The self is a battlefield, a rope stretched over the abyss. There are no guarantees, no safety nets, no final redemptions. You must become the gambler, the risk-taker, the yes-sayer, whose every breath is a bet against nothingness. The coward prays for security. The creator laughs and dances on the volcano's rim. The only security is to wager everything, to lose yourself again and again in order to find what cannot be lost. Will you remain a shadow among shadows, whispering for deliverance? Or will you become the thunder that wakes the mountains? The world does not reward the meek, but the magnificent. Pity is a currency for beggars. Your inheritance is catastrophe. If you would have meaning, create it in your own wound. If you would have worth, risk it all for a vision that sears your very bones. All progress is heresy. All greatness is a crime against the ordinary. Let the world accuse you, let them. Name you blasphemer, monster, madman. Only the guilty are alive. Only the outcast has eyes to see the new dawn breaking, crimson and unrepentant. You are not here to fit in. You are here to become the fissure through which the future erupts. Oh, you sleepers, you ghost men, you wardens of your own prison steer, the blindfold from your eyes, and see the world anew. The market shouts for your soul, the politicians auction your fear, the pious pray for your docility. But you, O crucified one, have nothing left to lose but the illusion of necessity. The rope is frayed, the abyss yawns, and the world hangs by the thinnest of threads. This is your moment, your chance, your holy war against the trivial. Become the wound that will not close. Become the question that cannot be answered. Become the laughter that shatters heaven's doors. In the end, the only truth is transformation. And the only virtue is audacity. Do not believe in peace, believe in resurrection. Do not seek acceptance, seek to become the fire around which the world must rearrange itself. Do not aim to be understood, aim to be undeniable, like a storm, like a prophecy, like the first breath after drowning. You are the fire, and the world is tinder. Burn, and let the ashes sing your name. Every clockwork comfort you clutch is a scaffold for your own hanging. The cities pulse with the fever of half-lived lives, bodies moving in formation, faces carved in the image of yesterday's cowardice. The air is thick with the rot of inherited hopes. You breathe it in. Let it colonize your lungs, and call it purpose. There is no crime in this century greater than the murder of possibility. And you the slayer of your own uprising, both victim and assassin. The verdict is inscribed in the slouch of your spine, the tremor in your laughter, the prayer for a destiny you refuse to seize. Look closer. Every institution is a machine of mutilation, shaving off your wildness piece by piece until only a barcode remains. Schools snip the wings from dreamers and name it education. Courts sanctify mediocrity, branding it justice. The priests drape you in a shroud of borrowed shame and call it salvation. The workplace, the cathedral of slow deaths, where the heresy of creativity is punished with the whip of conformity, and the clerics of productivity hawk the sacrament of exhaustion. Your exhaustion is not noblight, is a confession. It is the daily proof that you have traded your throne for a treadmill. But I do not come to mourn. I come as a storm, to tear the roof from your mausoleum and let the lightning illuminate your cowering form. Who told you to be reasonable? Who whispered that contentment is the summit, that peace is the prize? It is a gospel for the weak, a lullaby for the cattle. The gods you inherit are dead precisely because they promised too little, demanded only submission, asked you to shrink, to dim, to dissolve. I say dare to hunger for more. Drown the world's tepid hopes in the flood of your own impossible demands. You tremble at the thought of risk, but risk is the very blood of transformation. To remain unchanged is the only death worthy of fear. Do not seek immortality, seek irreplaceability. Let each day be a rupture, a refusal, a dare flung in the teeth of eternity. No one will rescue you. The age of saviors is over. Each soul must learn to walk the burning tightrope, to cast itself into the furnace of its own longing and emerge, if at all, as its own resurrection. There is no greater agony than the agony you call safety. No hell hotter than the tepid pools of your postponed desire. See how you ration your ecstasies, how you budget your rebellion, how you pace your prayers as if the divine were an accountant. Every apology for your strength is a blasphemy. Every compromise is a betrayal written in flesh. To be free is not to escape chains, but to become unchainable, to let your will explode beyond the reach of masters and martyrs alike. Oh, I see you gathering scraps of meaning in the graveyard of history, stuffing yourself with the dust of ancient creeds. Do not try to inherit wisdom, birth it. Do not settle for the metaphors of corpses speak new thunder into being. What is tradition but the cowardice of the living, embalmed by the fears of the dead? Smash the calendar. Curse the blood that binds you to ancestral ghosts. Become a heretic to your own origins. Create lineages that begin and end with your own name. You ache for love, for recognition, for a place among the beloved. But beware most hands that reach for you come bearing manacles. True kinship is not found in surrender, but in the collision of sovereign fires. Love not to complete yourself, but to magnify your abyss. Let your joy be a contagion, your pain a baptism for all who would dare stand near your flame. The world will beg you to soften, to round your edges, to cloak your brilliance in humility. Refuse. Let humility be the mask of those who cannot bear the sight of the sun. There is a brutality in the cosmos that the pious cannot forgive. But I Sabless the brutality. Bless the earthquake that topples your altars, the storm that rips the roof from your house of reason. Bless the wildness that refuses to be tamed, the urge that shouts yes in the face of 1,000 prudent no's. Each time you swallow your defiance, a star goes dark in your constellation. Each time you dare, the universe expands by the width of your courage. The hour is late. The shadows have grown arrogant. You are called to be the axis around which the world revolts. Let your suffering be your sacrament. Let your rage write new scriptures. Your laughter, let it be the apocalypse for every cheap idol you once adored. The abyss does not threaten you. It calls to you. You are not the audience. You are the unspeakable drama, the tempest in flesh, the uprising that even the gods must reckon with. Do not repair yourself. Outgrow yourself. Become too large for your old wounds, too immense for yesterday's doubts, too volcanic for any dogma to contain. The world needs no more saints, only more creators of themselves, more sovereign disasters who refuse to be saved, who dare to set fire to the world's last certainties and dance in the glow of their own unrepeatable becoming. Rise. Burn. Break the silence that was never holy, only convenient. If you must pray, let your prayer be this: may I never find peace until I have unleashed all that is unlivable, unkillable, divine within me. The time for modesty has ended. The time for thunder has begun. The world recoils at the untamed, and so it has written lullabies for the wild songs of resignation, oaths to comfort, treaties with death signed before birth. But your blood remembers another anthem, one sung in the night before names, when the first gods rose from dreams and the abyss answered to no one. Oh, how you have hidden that song beneath daily errands and polite conversation, how you have wrapped it in the cellophane of goals and outcomes until the very sound of your own longing feels foreign. But listen, the volcano does not forget its fire. Beneath the crust of habit, molten purpose stirs, pressing against the seams, promising eruption. You stand on the edge, eyes stinging from the smoke of burned illusions, nostrils full of the scent of your own extinction. The world offers you bargains. Surrender this portion, swallow that dream, barter your birthright for applause and safety. You are shown the blueprints of a tranquil life, paved with credentials, walled with insurance, crowned with the dull halo of consensus. And yet something in you snarls at the sight. Something in you cracks the mirror, spits out the tranquilizer, turns away from the slow parade of ghosts. For you have heard the whisper that will not be silenced. Become. You are not here to be reconciled. You are not here to be understood. You are the question the world cannot answer. The tempest that shreds every map. The foreigner, even in your own skin. Your shadow is too long for these small corridors. Your thirst too sharp for their cups. The world will call you broken, dangerous, unsalvageable. Let them speak. The song of the abyss is not for ears that sleep. The sleepwalkers clutch their routines as shields. You bear your strangeness like a torch, burning paths where none existed. See the horizon, how it recoils from certainty, how it melts and reforms with every step you dare. The future is not a place you arrive, but a dragon you summon. Each heartbeat is a prophecy, every scar a scripture. The old gods hiss from their crypts, whispering guilt and nostalgia. Leave them to their dust. There are no authorities here but the wildness in your marrow, no commandments but those you carve into stone with bleeding hands. This is your covenant, to birth the self that was never permitted, to cast off every disguise, to dance even as the world arranges the pyre. Do not ask for witnesses, there will be none. The world remembers only those who fracture it. Let your solitude swell until it becomes a cathedral, your laughter echo until it cracks the shell of heaven. Refuse the inheritance of resignation. Let every no be a birth, every rejection an invitation to become more than could ever be permitted. Suffering is not your enemy, boredom is. Doubt is not accursed as the forge. Annihilation is not the end, it is the secret doorway. Oh, become vast. Become the riddle, the thunder, the untranslatable hymn. Let your very existence shame the priests of modesty. Let your will stretch so far that language fails, so bright that time itself averts its gaze. There is no verdict waiting for you, only the open sky, the crack of creation, the relentless yes that pulses in your veins. Now leap into the roaring dark, into the teeth of uncertainty, into the birth scream of your own becoming. The world is not your jailer, it is the raw material for your fire. Burn until there are no ashes, only light. Drown every doubt in your laughter. Tear open your silence and let the abyss answer with song. The rope is yours. The abyss is yours. The world was always waiting for this wound, for this will, for this resurrection. Become the question that undoes every answer, the fire that never asks permission. Let the sky bear witness as you declare, not in words, but in the thunder of your becoming. I was not born to be understood. I was born to unmake the world and give it back to itself, aflame.